morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from 1880 town in South Dakota. Today's verse is 1 John 5:13. These things I have written to you who believe in the name of the Son of God, so that you may know that you have eternal life. Now, these things I have written to you. Here's why I have written this entire letter to you, and boom, there it is. Now, this is not the first time John has stated his purpose for this letter. He actually stated it twice before, and we're going to revisit those scriptures. However, before we do, he also said a very similar thing at the end of the Gospel of John, and it's very similar. It's nearly the same. So let's have a look at that in John 20:31. First of all, John is mentioning, gee, there's so much we could write about Jesus. I suppose the books in the entire world would not contain everything that could be written about him. But then he says, verse 31, but these things have been written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name. So the purpose is to have life in his name through our belief in him. One thing I'm really going to point out, though, these things have been written so that you may believe, and so forth. So that we have a written Bible, a standardized, codified Bible that shows who the real Jesus is. So if someone comes up and says, well, Jesus lets me do all kinds of fun things, or Jesus is all about, rules and regulations and vindictiveness and so forth. We have these Gospels that show, no, this is what the real Jesus is like, this is his heart, and this is how we know we've got the right Jesus and not one made after our own image or our own taste or something. We have to make sure we are believing in the right Jesus, and here he is right here in black and white before us in the Gospel. Now, in the epistle of 1 John, he first mentions, this is why I've written in chapter 1, verse 4, right up front. But to build into that, let's look at verse 3. What we have seen and heard, we proclaim to you also, so that you too may have fellowship with us. And indeed, our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. Now, verse 4, these things we write so that our joy may be made complete. Now, one of the main reasons that John writes this is so that as we fall in love with God the Father and with Jesus Christ and with the Spirit, we grow closer to him. It actually brings us closer to other Christians in fellowship. And joy is the second mentioned fruit of the Spirit in love, joy, peace, long-suffering, etc. And of course, it's a joy just to be a child of God. But our joy is made complete when, as we fall in love with him, we start falling in love with each other as Christians. The second mention of this is why we have written it is in chapter 2, verse 1. My little children, I am writing these things to you so that you may not sin. And if anyone sins, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. And I am suggesting in this, and you can see my video here, that we can actually go for a period of time without sinning, as long as we are submitting to him in love, loving him more than anyone else or anything else, and allowing him to be in the driver's seat of our lives. Then we can actually go about not sinning. All right? Now we have today's verse that says, this is why I've written to you who believe, you already believe in the name of the Son of God, so that you may know with confidence that you have eternal life. And I'm going to suggest that this whole letter, this whole epistle has been showing evidences and the need for us to grow together in fellowship with each other. When these things are in place, we can know and not doubt that we have eternal life. Not that we have confidence in our work, but we have confidence in his work through our love relationship with him. And that's why we need to love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.